Hello, welcome to this your channel of the better Eurofan, that's me. Portugal is improving their results in the competition time after time, with very particular and authentic proposals that have been conquering the European audience. The last proof was the charming and heartfelt performance from Maro in last year's contest, which granted had a memorable 9th place. We will see now that the artist who took the baton to represent the Iberian nation on Liverpool. Let's go! For today's episode, I'm going to review the Portuguese entry for Eurovision 2023, which has been represented by singer Mimicat with the song Ai Coração, which in English translates as Oh Heart. We start by taking a look to her biography and career before representing the Lusitanian country on British soil. Marisa Isabel Lopes Mena, mostly well known as Mimicat, is a Portuguese pop and soul singer and songwriter, coming from the city of Coimbra in central Portugal. Her stage name comes from the combination of Mimi, a nickname for godmothers in her family, and Cat, as she herself gets identified with the personality of the aforementioned family. She gets involved in the music world since very early age, recording her first song at the age of 9. Her musical career begins in 2009, when she joins as the member of the band The Casino Royale, being the lead singer and songwriter. She releases with them the first 2 studio albums of the band, until she decides to leave the band in 2014 to pursue a solo career, releasing her debut studio album that same year with songs in English. The following year she will participate in several musical festivals, both in her native country and Brazil, to promote her album. Her second studio album will be released in 2017, also in English, and later she will make a musical hiatus for some years. After being the most part of her musical career songwriting in English, she will start to write her first songs in her native language, Portuguese, releasing her first single in the language in 2021. And the following year, she will release another single featuring the fellow Portuguese singer Felipe Gonçalves. Artistically speaking, she has commented that her musical influences include soul music, as well as pop hits in the radio, and she usually gets inspired in artists like Ella Fitzgerald, Ray Charles, and Jill Scott. On the other hand, apart from her musical career, she has worked as a real estate agent, and she is also married with 2 children. A curious fact is that many years ago, still being a teenager, she went on to participate in the renowned Festival da Canção in 2001 under the stage name of Isamena, when she did not think about using the stage name of Mimicat yet, although she didn't have in mind to represent the country at the contest. But even so, her proposal failed to qualify for the semifinals during that time. She will make another attempt this year, now having much enough experience as a singer and a songwriter, and more prepared for the challenge. Let's take a look on how this second attempt turned out for her. As it has been usual, the Portuguese broadcaster will organize what it went to be the 57th edition of the Festival da Canção, which serves as the national final to select the Portuguese representative on the United Kingdom. Similar to the last edition, there was an open submission for Portuguese songwriters who wanted to take a part in the musical festival, having received a total of 667 proposals. In this same line, 5 songwriters will be selected from the proposals received from the open submission, while after 15 songwriters will be directly invited by the broadcaster, making a total of 20 participants as usual. The selected songwriters were announced on early November of last year, while the performance and songs will be announced in last mid-January. In this case, Mimicat was chosen as one of the 5 songwriters from the open submission, being an authentic achievement for her. About the format, there will be a change in comparison to the previous edition. In each semi-final, the top 5 must vote the performers, resulting from the combined score from both the jury and the public will remain. But in addition, it won't be a 6th qualifier, which will be determined in a second round of voting solely by televote, with 12 finalists competing in the final show. But then there was a small incident. During the live broadcast of the first semi-final, One of the participating performers, the group ESC, got granted their qualification to the final show after discovering technical issues with the televoting line assigned to the performer, so the final show was increased to 13 finalists. Mimicat will make her first appearance in the first semi-final, where she was the second most voted artist, thus qualifying straight to the final. Later during the final show broadcasted in last mid-March, she came to be the absolute favorite, receiving the highest scores from both the jury and the public, gaining the victory in the musical festival, and becoming without any doubt the Portuguese representative that will travel to Liverpool. Sometime later she will work on the recording and production of the official music video, which will be released in early May, a few days before the contest. Featuring this style and animated and cabaret track. Now here comes the analysis according to what she has presented in her proposal. The melody combines burlesque with fado and jazz, taking a progressively frantic character as the song progresses, while Mimicat's voice in this case is powerful and charming at the same time, remarking mostly the vocal extravaganza moments in the chorus and the outro. The lyrics, which has been written in Portuguese, talk about that heartache and desperation for a guy addressed as her boyfriend or lover. Curiously, the song did not have a motivation or was inspired by a particular person, but came in one of those moments of boredom of her. In fact, she has commented in an interview how the song came out. I wrote the song 10 years ago out of boredom. I was waiting for someone and started singing Ai Coração. And I thought, this song's kinda cool, let's see where this goes. And I actually did the song in 5 minutes right there. Reading the lyrics in detail, previously translated of course. It is seeing how she is progressively going into the madness of being lost in love with her boyfriend or lover, which describes it with a controlled loss of her senses and mental state. It comes to attention that in each chorus is added a phrase with the song's title, showing in some way how those emotions increase, becoming stronger and intense. As usually in this kind of songs related to love dilemmas, more than a message, it describes an emotional state which is quite intense in this case. Having reviewed the song, now I'm going to analyze the official music video released for this proposal. The plot begins with a close-up of Mimicat dressed as a bar woman in a bar, being count up first until the first verse starts, and the customers reach after her to claim her for the drinks served, which are alternated with shots in some areas of the bar, of herself looking classy in a cabaret saloon, or laid down in a pool table focusing her from above. During the second verse, two girls dressed in burlesque style are sitting with the bar woman Mimicat, while she tells them all of her sorrows as the ones related in the lyrics, and also alternating with some other shocks previously seen before. By the instrumental bridge, the classic Mimicat is dancing very sensually with the same two girls from before, in the middle of a crowd that is also dancing. Towards the end of the music video, the dance is more frantic and festive, with repeated gestures with the hands towards the chest, like symbolizing the heartbeats to the rhythm of the music, finishing the performance with a vocal extravaganza surrounded by the girls and the people. Making a summary of the comments, the Portuguese entry for this year is technically a fun and animated play. That combination of burlesque with traditional sounds makes this proposal quite original, which particularly I like very much. Many of us probably have been in a similar situation with a particular person, getting identified with the lyrics quite easily. Recalling the staging in the musical festival, at first Mimicat is singing Duck starting the performance. With the first verse she turns to the front, being herself in front of a sofa, while two female dancers appear behind it. Mimicat's outfit is also seen, wearing a black bodysuit with a red tulle simulating a sort of skirt. The female dancers, in the other hand, are wearing burlesque outfits matching Mimicat's style in black and red. Soon later, two male dancers appear, completely dressed in black, joining the performance, and the four of them start to perform a very dynamic burlesque choreography, while Mimicat goes to the front of the stage. In addition, the visual graphics feature a big heart silhouette, with your assemblies in purple inside of it. I guess this represents that complexity of feelings and best sensation experimented when you feel excited about a special person. For the second verse, they do a special performance of the sofa, two burlesques because of how parodic and exaggerated it looks. Then get it off from the sofa and resuming the choreography at the front of the stage, being more sensual during the instrumental bridge. By the last chorus, both the choreography and the singing are much more frantic and dynamic, where the climax comes with the vocal extravaganza from Mimicat, finishing the performance with all the dancers dancing around her and raising their arms to the sky. I could notice that the vocal performance from Mimicat was not that optimal, but she showed a lot of charisma and energy, which definitely have convinced both the jury and the public. For the staging in Liverpool, it could be seen during the rehearsals that there will be some changes from the performance at the musical festival. In this case, she has discarded the visual graphics, making use only of a set of spotlights, and also she has discarded the sofa. It is a shame because I would have liked to see the same performance again for the sofa. The outfits will be changing too, with Mimicat wearing a red feathered dress and hot pink muffs, keeping the burlesque style, and the dancers will be wearing outfits of the same color. Watching her live performance in the first semi-final, it was much more dynamic, especially on the dancing. Mimicat starts at the center of the stage while she is flanked by her dancers, initially with red spotlights, which turn later to white and wore during the verses and the chorus. Both the dance and the mimetic performances they do remain the same throughout all the song. Then during the instrumental bridge the spotlights become red again, while Mimicat slowly goes to the front of the stage. The peaking moment will come with the last chorus, where the spotlights are more energetic, reaching the climax with her vocal extravaganza. Despite having discarded song elements, this was a very well done performance, remarking especially that the vocal performance from Mimicat was just perfect. She had high possibilities of having a spot in the grand final, and it happened indeed. During the grand final, the counting of the votes reveals some points awarded by the jury, placing 18th at first, which raised some expectations. But after knowing the few points received from the public, she went down in the ranking unfortunately until finally placing 23rd. Maybe the result was not the expected one this time, but it is still a quite authentic proposal, which delivers charisma, sass and sensuality. After having her Eurovision adventure, Mimicat has moved forward in her musical career. In fact, it is known that she has been working some months ago in the recording and production of her third studio album, set to be released this summer, being her first recording work in many years. She has commented that the latest singles released by her will be included, as well as the song which she has participated in the contest. There is the question if the album is going to be fully in Portuguese, or if it will have songs in English too. But in any case, there is no doubt that it will be a big comeback for her in the Portuguese musical scene. And you, what do you think about the Portuguese entry for this year? Let me know your comments down below, thus we can keep the discussion. And this is it for today's episode. Before I finish, remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel, enable notifications and find me through my social media. Take care and see you in the next episode. Bye bye.